In the competitive corporate world, managers often evaluate their team's internal health by tracking visible arguments, open disagreements, and obvious friction during high-stakes operational meetings or intense strategic cross-functional debates. They mistakenly assume that a quiet room equals a healthy culture. But the most destructive organizational threats are actually completely invisible. Hidden conflict and passive tension silently damage workplace communication, mutual trust, and overall operational productivity over extended periods of time, eroding the business from within. This psychologically observant video thoroughly explores the hidden side of modern workplace dynamics that leaders usually completely ignore. It uncovers how unaddressed emotional disengagement systematically undermines performance deep inside organizations. The practical script focuses heavily on teaching managers specific, reliable methods to identify early warning signs of team friction before these subtle behavioral patterns evolve into major corporate disasters. By analyzing highly realistic examples, viewers will clearly see how tiny, overlooked tensions gradually grow into massive problems. These familiar scenarios perfectly illustrate the compounding damage of avoiding uncomfortable conversations and prioritizing short-term comfort. Furthermore, the content outlines actionable, sophisticated strategies that executives can immediately apply to restore psychological safety. Transforming passive aggression into constructive dialogue requires a highly disciplined, structured approach from management. The overarching tone remains deeply psychological, observant, and exceptionally relatable for modern team environments, ensuring that both experienced executives and junior specialists can easily recognize these hidden interpersonal currents from experience. The impactful ending strongly reinforces the absolute importance of proactive leadership intervention in sustaining collaboration. Effectively managing the emotional climate is the definitive cornerstone of a resilient, high-performing corporate culture. When hidden conflict festers within a department, employees rarely express their frustration through open, honest communication. Instead, they unconsciously channel their resentment into passive-aggressive behaviors, subtle sarcasm, and deliberate informational withholding. Consequently, vital cross-functional collaboration rapidly grinds to a complete halt. Team members instinctively prioritize personal self-defense and political posturing over driving collective innovation or executing strategic goals. This toxic atmosphere completely paralyzes internal feedback loops, ensuring that critical operational errors remain hidden away until they inevitably explode into severe, exceptionally costly crises across the entire enterprise. The leader completely fails to notice that the heavy, polite silence in meetings is actually a clear sign of deep emotional disengagement, severely reducing their true psychological authority over subordinates. Now, contrast that fragile environment with a highly transparent corporate culture anchored in psychological safety and open dialogue. Exceptional leaders understand that identifying hidden friction is a critical management responsibility. They treat every single subtle shift in team dynamics as a valuable opportunity to reinforce trust, ensuring that their language, body language, and interventions remain completely calm, curious, and constructive. When a high-performing team experiences a mysterious drop in velocity, these disciplined executives immediately look beneath the surface. Instead of ignoring the awkward tension or waiting for the problem to resolve itself, they proactively initiate structured, non-threatening conversations designed to safely bring buried conflicts into the light. To master this level of analytical leadership professionally, you must first learn to identify the subtle micro-signals of emotional disengagement during daily operations and high-pressure project briefings. Watch closely for sudden changes in communication frequency, such as a usually vocal employee completely withdrawing from debates. Another warning sign is when a team member begins relying strictly on formal, cold emails instead of talking directly. These subtle behavioral shifts are clear indicators that trust is actively eroding, requiring immediate, empathetic intervention from management before the personal alienation becomes permanent and damages morale across the department. The biggest obstacle to addressing these hidden conflicts is always the leader's own discomfort with interpersonal friction, which constantly encourages them to prioritize short-term artificial harmony over objective organizational truth. An elite manager, however, has learned to completely decouple their personal comfort from their professional duty, viewing healthy, respectful disagreement as an essential catalyst for continuous growth and innovation. They send an exceptionally transparent message to the entire hierarchy. Avoiding uncomfortable truths is never acceptable. Creating an authentic workspace where issues are solved openly is the only priority. If you discover that passive tension has already damaged collaboration, rebuilding a unified culture requires immense discipline. The recovery process begins by replacing vague defensive complaints with structured, regular one-on-one check-ins, providing your people with a completely secure, private environment to express their genuine concerns. Vulnerability from an executive during these sessions never diminishes official authority. Instead, it dramatically increases respect by proving that the manager is self-aware, grounded in reality, and fully committed to truth. During group meetings, actively dismantle artificial compliance by formally implementing a designated challenger role. This gives someone the specific responsibility to safely uncover hidden flaws in current proposals without social friction. By normalizing constructive dissent as a standard business process, you completely remove the fear of personal retaliation, allowing your talent to confidently stress test ideas and collaborate with total honesty. Furthermore, ensure that your internal communication channels remain completely transparent, keeping everyone perfectly aligned regarding changing metrics, individual responsibilities, and overall organizational milestones to eliminate speculative rumors. Keep your feedback loops exceptionally precise, highly actionable, and entirely focused on optimizing broken processes and systems rather than judging individual personalities or restricting your team's operational autonomy. By proving through repeated daily actions that you are an emotionally intelligent, supportive facilitator, you will systematically restore the psychological safety required for world-class collaboration and sustainable long-term business performance. High-performing professionals are naturally drawn to leaders who run toward problems rather than hiding from them. It provides the secure foundation necessary to maximize their creative impact within the industry. When you invest heavily in unmasking and resolving hidden conflict, the strategic returns are compounding, resulting in drastically reduced turnover rates, elevated workplace morale, and an accelerated velocity of overall project execution. Our vital takeaway for viewers is that legendary corporate cultures are never built through superficial politeness, but through the quiet, relentless repetition of honest, transparent, and emotionally intelligent micro-actions every day. So, during your very next corporate briefing, pay exceptionally close attention to the exact quality of the silence in the room when an unorthodox strategic pivot is announced to the group. Consciously choose to invite critical feedback by specifically asking what challenges the team foresees, creating a safe, structured space for individuals to voice their authentic perspectives without hesitation. Watch how rapidly the internal energy shifts from heavy, passive tension to highly motivated, creative collaboration. It transforms your workspace into an unstoppable powerhouse of collective intelligence and mutual professional respect. In conclusion, mastering the art of identifying hidden conflict will completely revolutionize your management style, yielding massive breakthroughs in team loyalty. Your ultimate takeaway, Padre, is that true leadership influence is multiplied only when it is shared through humility, proactive listening, and an absolute commitment to protecting your people's psychological safety. Commit to this disciplined approach starting right now.